Brennan goes to a completely collateral issue, which is usually inappropriate on cross-examination. Usually you're not allowed to bring collateral things into this trial, come on some secondary issue and hammer somebody. But one of the exceptions that allows you to do that is when you can attack a person's credibility or their veracity. And that is what allowed Brennan to do this. So let's listen to him do it. And I have a major issue with how this was brought out in trial for a number of different reasons.
There are many times where you have been intimidated, isn't it?
No.
You've been threatened.
Nope.
You were aware, sir, that you were being threatened by an online blogger to expose you?
I was not.
So first off, he's handling these questions beautifully, but we now have threats of an online blogger to expose a witness. So here's my big issue, and we're going to get way more detailed than that. But my big issue now is we don't want to confuse the jury. And that doesn't just mean be confusing. It also means bring up issues that have no relevance to proving this crime. And if you want to hit his credibility, you could say you were threatened by people on the outside pressuring you to change your testimony or come testify or not to testify or whatever you want to say. You can say there was outside pressure, people were pressuring you. But to say an online blogger, to say he was threatening to expose you, how is the jury not like, I want to figure out what happened? I need to go look this up. What is he talking about? How is it not making the jury think, well, that news commercial that I saw or on the news station, that report I walked by and saw, were they talking about that blogger? Is that what they were talking about? And now it's making them think about all this outside noise outside the courtroom, almost tempting them even more to go do some research on this case. You don't want that. I think this is such an easy analogy to the FBI situation. Everybody's telling me they should be able to say FBI, say FBI, say FBI. And I think the door has been opened. But regardless, I understand why the judge wants to keep it out, because once you say the FBI was involved and they hired ARCA and whatever, now the jury's thinking about all sorts of things. And they're putting more credence or less credence on certain arguments. And that's why, to be more vague, you can still get part of the point across, but you can, again, neuter it a little bit. And to me, the same should have been done here to Hank Brennan. He should have been able to talk about outside pressure or threats. He should not have been able to get into it was a specific blogger and what the specific threats were and when they came out and show specific. I don't know if he entered them into evidence. We'll watch again here, but he definitely showed them to Lucky and put them up on the screen. And that is a completely collateral issue. I understand being able to go after credibility. He should absolutely be able to try to attack Lucky Laughlin's credibility, but I think the judge gave him way too much leeway and allowed him to go way too far down the road into this blogger issue. I don't know if they've already fought about this, had a sidebar about it, objected. I don't know if the defense plans to do something with this later. I don't know. But this was a complete sideshow in the middle of trial about a blogger allegedly making threats to Lucky Laughlin. And Lucky didn't even agree with half of them. He didn't say he knew about him. He didn't say he felt threatened. So if he doesn't have that knowledge, how does that affect his credibility? In order for him to have been threatened, you have to know about your threat, right? So I thought it was inappropriate for a number of reasons. Brennan should always be able to attack the credibility of a witness, but there was too many details about this, and it was inappropriate, in my opinion.